This video is for you if you are really new to human design and you're wondering who the heck to listen to when there are so many people teaching human design, and maybe you've discovered they don't all agree. So let's talk about that. I'm sharing this from the perspective of myself, Carolyn. I have been working with human design, learning, embodying, practicing, teaching for 7.5 years. So that's the perspective that I am sharing it with you now. Now, if you've been digging around online, whether you've had a coaching session with somebody, whether you've taken a program or you've just started Googling, you may have discovered that not all human design experts agree on the way that human design should be taught. Now, the raw data, your time, date, and location goes into a piece of chart software, and there are only a few different pieces of chart software, to be honest, on the planet. So as long as the data is put in correctly, you will get a similar-ish looking chart, regardless of which system it's spat out of. But depending on the human you're working with, or the blog post you're reading, or the video that you're watching, the interpretation of that chart could be wildly different. So it is important to note that, broadly speaking, there are two ways of thinking in the human design world. Either that we need to teach it exactly the way that Ra taught it, starting with his channeling of the human design system in January 1987, and everything that was taught of his all the way through to his death in 2011. And then there are other people who have taken the work of Ra and have added more information to it, whether it's layering in an understanding of quantum physics, or it's even shifting it into a whole new body of work like Richard Rudd did with gene keys. There are multiple permutations, multiple versions of human design. Now, which is correct? Well, that depends on who you ask. The perspective that I hold is that there are many, many, many ways to approach this. And for you, it's important for you to work out who to listen to, who is correct for you to learn from. So here are my 5 suggestions, 5 things that I would encourage you to look at when you're choosing a human design expert to learn from. 1, how long has this person been working with or learning about, teaching? How long have they known about and been actively studying, whether formally or informally, human design? If they are really new and really excited and they've only been learning about it for 6 months and they're all excited and they're starting to go through a certification process and they've only been at it 6 months, they're not going to have a very embodied understanding of human design. Whereas if they have gone through a formal training over 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, as some people have, then they're going to know a lot more. So just do some digging around. How long has this person been working with or learning about human design? Often they'll have it on their about page of their website, or their bio, or in the introduction that you hear on a podcast, or however you come across this person. So number 1, how long? Number 2, have they done some kind of training? So there is everything from very short courses on human design all the way through to 7 years training with International Human Design School and everything in between. And there are multiple teachers who don't ascribe to the way that Ra originally taught it. They don't agree with some of his perspectives and his view on the world. While they love the tool, they chose to interpret and approach this body of work differently. And so there are several of those people who've been working with human design for decades, 20 plus years, who run their own certification programs and have amazing students who are now also teachers and trainers. So that's something to be aware of. Now, you can, because human design is not a regulated industry, you could call yourself a human design expert if you read a book yesterday and started teaching what you learned today, right? Now it makes it a little bit difficult for you as a consumer. So see if you can dig around. Have they done any formal training? I have seen, just for the record, I have seen some amazing resources created on human design by people who've done no formal training but have spent years digging, reading, consuming, and applying and embodying in their own life. And then I have seen other people who've taken a huge amount of training who I would not send them a client or go to them myself ever. So it's not necessarily, in my opinion, that somebody who has done a lot of training is ideal. Somebody who's done no formal training is not ideal. But it is important to ask the question or to get curious. How does this person come about this knowledge? How do they come to this information? So for me, for example, you already know that I've been, or have I mentioned it? I've been working with human design for 7.5 years. I have done some formal training with Karen Curry Parker, who learnt from Ra Uru directly more than 20 years ago, 22, 23 years ago at time of recording of this video. I have also done a truckload of self-study with multiple different teachers, including consuming some of Ra's original teachings, right? So that's mine, so that you have a sense of my answer to that question. Point number 3. When you listen to, consume, somehow absorb this information from this human design teacher, does it leave you feeling empowered? There are a lot of people who teach a lot of things about human design that are very black and white, can leave you feeling like you are powerless, or that you're a victim, or there's something wrong with you, or that you feel somehow limited by what they've said. Now, there is a fine line to navigate, because it is uncomfortable to realize you've been like playing some other role. You've not been being yourself for a long time. But basically, as you learn more about yourself, it should kind of feel like a bit of a relief. Like, oh, there's nothing wrong with me after all. Wow. Okay. This is important information to know. So you basically want to walk away from that video, that blog post, that podcast, that coaching session, that online course, whatever, however you've been engaging with human design information, you want to walk away from it feeling more empowered, like you have more choice, like you have more possibility in your life, like you finally got some answers that you have been looking for your whole life. That's what it should feel like. If it doesn't feel like that, then consider looking for a different human design teacher, coach, mentor, expert. Okay, number 4, do you resonate with them? I have seen people over the last 7+ years who have said, oh my God, Carolyn, have you heard of so-and-so? They're doing all this cool stuff in the human design space. They're doing XYZ in their business. They're doing so well. You got to check them out. Maybe you'll like them. Maybe your clients will like them. I go and have a look at them and I'm like, oh yeah, I can see that they have 100,000 followers on Instagram. I can see that they're doing really well following the human design. I don't like learning from them at all, right? That tells me that I'm not in resonance with that person. I don't vibe with the way they're teaching. I don't like learning from them. Whereas I'll have other people who, the moment I listen to the sound of their voice, and I'm quite auditory, I'll be like, oh, I could listen to this person all day long. Or, wow, I really like the way they communicate that. Right now, if you're at this point and you're still listening to this video, you probably resonate with me. If you have been putting up with this and you found me annoying, stop watching the video, go find someone else. Because if I resonate with you, I will feel good to you, for you to listen to, for you to learn from. It's allowed to feel good while you're studying, while you're learning, while you're being coached. It's allowed to feel good. So just notice who you're in resonance with and who you're not. And you don't have to learn from the same person that your best friend or your colleague or your sister learned from. Learn from whoever you resonate with. Number 5, is there a budget match? As in time and money, and energy is a little bit more. Let's go with time and money. Is there a time and money budget match? As in, for the amount of time you have, does the thing that's being offered by your human design expert, by whatever title they give themselves, does it match your time? So if you have a lot of time, then you can probably, if you feel excited by it, you can probably go and do a very involved coaching program or course that goes over multiple days, weeks, months, years even. If you don't have very much time, then you might need to be able to consume things that you can consume in little tiny bite-sized pieces. The same for your money. There are everything from fabulous resources. I have read some amazing things. I have watched some amazing videos totally for free that are hands down worth hundreds of dollars, right? They exist. So if your budget is very, very minimal, just know there are some fabulous free resources, and you can literally spend tens of thousands of dollars on programs. You can spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaching in this space. It depends on what is a match for your cash budget. So think about those things. One, how long has the person been working with human design and having a chance to embody it and live it themselves? Two, have they done any training, or how have they learned about human design? Three, do you find it, do you feel empowered? Do you feel like you have more options? Do you feel good about yourself after consuming or working with that person? Four, do you resonate with them? And five, is it a budget match for the amount of time and money that you have to spend? That's it from me. I look forward to hanging out more if you resonate with me. And otherwise, all the best on your human design journey. It is a pretty incredible one. Bye.